it's your girl Tara coming to you from thecraftsurgeon.com, and welcome to another episode of Casing Tuesday. So for those of you who aren't aware, Casing Tuesday is a challenge group on Facebook that I take part in, where every single week, specifically on a Tuesday, there's a sample that's taken from one of Stampin's catalogs and it's converted into a sketch. So it's a lot of fun to play along with this. So in order to play along, all you have to do is either make the card that's shown in the sketch, or you can put your own flair to it, which is what I love to do. One thing I do want to let you guys know is I love this because it showcases how Stampin' Up's publications are a great source for inspiration. I love to have a physical copy of our catalogs, and I keep a copy every single year for every single one that comes out because I can always refer back to it for inspiration, which is really cool. It also shows you how you can use a sketch to get your creative juices flowing, and it challenges you to create with the stuff that you already have in your stash, which is neat. So it's kind of getting you to cut up that designer series paper that you might be sitting on and hoarding. It also forces you to kind of use the stamps that you don't normally or typically use, which is why I love this challenge. Another cool thing about this is that there are a lot of other people that take part in this group, and they contribute their projects. So it's really great to see the different perspectives that others have on the sketch. So anyone can play. It's free to play along. So I will have the link down in the description box below if this is something that interests you and you want to take part in. And all I can say is just go ahead, start creating, and then just post your project, okay? It's a wonderful group to be a part of. So I wanted to share with you guys my take on this week's sketch, which is sketch number 243. Here it is, and it can be found on page 21 of the 2020 mini catalog. And I'm going to show you guys the picture in a moment when we get into stamping. But this is it, and I think this card is so stinking cute. I love it. I really love this sketch, guys. Like, it's really simple, but there are so many different variances that you can do with this sketch. I love it. So stick around because I'm going to share with you guys everything that I used on this card and how I created it, okay? So let's get stamping. All right, so let's get into showing you where you can find this week's sketch, okay? So on page 21, we are looking at this card here down at the bottom. It says, wishing you much happiness today and always. And as you can see, it is a very simple sketch. I love it. There's the regular card base. There's a piece of designer series paper. There is a stitched frame that actually coordinates with the set on this page. Here, it's called the So Sentimental and the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And it uses both of those dies from that set, and then the sentiment from that set as well. And then there's a little bit of ribbon that's wrapped around the card. So that is where you can find this week's sketch. All right, as far as the card that I created, as you can see, I took a lot of those components from the sketch, but I changed it up a bit. So instead of having I probably could have done this, but instead of using the Stitch So Sweetly dies for that background piece, I used a piece of vellum. And then, of course, I did have to bring in that Stitch So Sweetly die because I really love that set of dies. And let's see here. I have my sentiment in the center, and then I have the piece of designer series paper and the ribbon wrapped around my card. All right, so that is my take on the sketch. Now, the items that I used, or the supplies that I used on this card, are first, the Seriously the Best stamp set. Now, this stamp set is so great. I've done so many projects with it. I love the fonts in it. It's bold, and this goes for so many different occasions. You can never have enough congrats cards, thanks cards, and I miss you cards. You just can't. And I think this is a great stamp set for sentiments. Okay, so that's this. And you can find this little guy on page 60 of our catalog right here. And it actually coordinates with the Seriously the Best kit, which I actually have, and I created all the cards, and it was a lot of fun. It's a project kit, and there's 16 cards in that kit. And it has everything you need as far as supply wise and consumable wise, but you do need some additional supplies in order to recreate the cards as shown. But a really, really fun set, and it's not just subject to the kit with this stamp set. This stamp set is great for, like I said, all different kinds of occasions. So great, great, great product. All right, so that's the stamp set that I used. And of course, I had to use, just like the image that we have for our sample, the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Now, shame on me, I don't have the actual stamp set to coordinate with this. That's the next thing. I should have bought them together. But I really love the dies. I needed to make sure that I had the dies. And here they are. Aren't they cute? And of course, like I said, I did pull in that aspect of the card off of the sample, and I love how they're stitched. Really, really fun dies. The next thing I used on this card is paper. So I am using some really fun colors. So this is a piece of, I think this is, oh, my bad, Grapefruit Grove. Yes, it's called Grapefruit Grove, and this is a standard A2 size card. Now this is one of the 2018 to 2020 in colors. Okay, so really, really beautiful color, very bright and very vibrant. I love it. And then this piece of designer series paper that I'm using is so fun. I love it. It is a piece that comes from the Tropical Oasis designer series pack. It's 12 by 12. So there's some great papers in that pack. I have a piece of vellum. Oh, and this measures 5 inches by 3 3/4 of an inch. Then I have a piece of vellum that measures 4 1/4 inches by 3 inches. And I have a little piece of Whisper White that I'm going to stamp my sentiment on. I have a 1/4 inch strip of basic black where we're going to also stamp the rest of our sentiment on. And we're going to actually heat emboss. And then I have a piece of Daffodil Delight, and this is cut out using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Okay, so that's a piece of that. For ink, I am using my Grapefruit Grove, which is also an in color, like I mentioned earlier. I'm using my Versamark ink because we are going to be doing some heat embossing. And with the heat embossing, I have my white powder and my embossing buddy. I know it's quite a few supplies for this card. I'm also using a, we don't sell these, but it's a white Uniball Signal pen because I don't know if you guys could see, but I did put like little white reflections onto the word thanks. I thought that added a really cute touch. And then on top of that, I used my Wink Stella pen to add a little bit of shimmer because y'all know I love shimmer. Y'all already know that. Y'all follow me for a while. You guys know I throw shimmer on everything along with bling. So we have champagne rhinestones. These are so pretty. They actually go with the Parisian Beauty set that's in the mini catalog, but they are really, really gorgeous. I love them. Love these rhinestones. I also have some of our in color gross grain ribbon, and this is in Grapefruit Grove as well. And then, of course, you'll need your adhesives. You'll need some clear blocks. You'll need your heat tool. And, of course, some tape because y'all know I cheat when it comes to time bows. So, all right. So, those are all of the supplies that we're going to use on today's card. So, let's go ahead and get into creating. All right. So, the first thing we are going to do is we're going to stamp our sentiments. Okay. So, we're going to take our Grapefruit Grove ink and we're going to take our thanks stamp. And we're going to ink this little guy up just like this and stamp it down onto our piece of Whisper White. So there's that. Then we're going to go in with our white gel pen. Oops, and this is rolling all over the place. And we're going to add those little touches in here with our pen. So I'm just going through in the bigger areas and adding little lines, the line reflections and the dots, because it makes this sentiment really, really pop, I think. Just like that. So y'all see how I added, oop, I'm trying to get in the camera. Y'all see how I added those little reflection marks. Really, really pretty. All right, so I'm going to sit that to the side, allow that to dry, because when I go over it with my Wink of Stella, I don't want it to smear. All right, and so let's go ahead and stamp our sentiments. So, as with any embossing we do, we want to make sure that we treat our paper with our embossing buddy, because we want to make sure that we don't get any powder or ink where we don't want it. Okay. So I'm going to take my Versamark, and then I'm going to take my sentiment. And you know, I really love how these sentiments, like it has the big word, the like thanks and congrats, and then it has like the little sentiments to complete that, to complete the whole sentiment. So I'm saying thanks, you're seriously the best. So it kind of adds a little bit. Oop, and that's kind of crooked. I don't like that. It adds a it adds to that sentiment. So we're gonna do this again because I messed that up. It was too far down on the paper. So we're gonna ink up our stamp, and we're gonna try to center it this time. Okay, there we go. That's a lot better. So let's close up our stuff. Set this to the side, and then we're gonna coat it with our white powder, just like this. Perfect. And I like to go over it 2 or 3 times to make sure I get those little spaces in there that the powder doesn't really stick really well at first. All right, here we go. So now I'm going to take my heat tool. I've almost knocked my coffee over. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to heat emboss this. So right now you can tell that it's kind of powdery, right? But to know that it's done, it's going to get shiny. So we're going to go ahead and heat that up. There we go. Perfect. It's nice and shiny. Y'all see that? All right, now we're gonna take our paper snips and we're gonna cut this little guy down. Just like that. There we go. Put that off to the side. All right, let's check our sentiment. It looks like it's for the most part dry. So I'm gonna go over it with my Wink of Stella. All right, and then we're gonna do a little bit of fuzzy cutting. The sentiment is pretty big to cut out, so. All right, so there we go. So we have cut that little guy out just like that, and we're gonna sit that to the side. So now it's time for us to assemble our card. This card is really easy, guys. Like, it's not hard at all, and it makes up pretty fast. So I'm gonna burnish my edge here with my bone folder. I'm going to take my liquid glue, and I'm gonna just create my little string of glue here so we can glue our little piece of DSP to our cardstock, just like this, with the bananas and the pineapples and the dragon fruit. So pretty. I really love this paper. All right. And now I'm going to take my snail adhesive. Now I like to use snail or glue dots on vellum so that way it doesn't show through, okay? So I'm going to just put a couple of little lines, not a lot, but enough to kind of keep this little guy stuck down onto our card base. And we're gonna center that little guy. Ooh. We're gonna put this little guy right in the center. Man, I can't get it right. There we go. Try to get it as straight as possible. But as you can see, you can't see the the snail through the vellum because it's clear, which is what I love about that. All right, so now we're going to take our ribbon. Okay, and I am going to take a little piece of tape, and we're going to attach this right in the center of our card, and we're going to wrap this little guy around just like this. Make sure it's even, and you want to pull it tight but not too tight where it's gonna make your card bow. All right, so now I'm gonna take this other end down. I told y'all I do cheater bows. Y'all know I don't tie bows like straight onto the card because I am bow challenged, and it's fine. It's okay, right? It's okay that we're bow challenged. All right, so now I'm going to take my piece of Daffodil Delight, my little stitched die cut, and we are going to stick this little guy with dimensionals. I'll just use the rest of my little extra dimensionals that I have here. And we're going to place some like right here in the center, leaving a little gap between them. All right, there we go. Just like that. Perfect. Then we're going to take some of our glue and place it right in the center of our You're Seriously the Best sentiment strip. And we're going to put this little guy like right over that ribbon. Just like that. Okay. And then we're going to take our thanks. We're going to flip this little guy over. And we're going to apply some dimensionals to the back side of that little guy. Just like that. And we're going to stick this right on top of our card. Just like this. All right, and now we are going to take our bow. You can either go ahead and tie a bow on your fingers, or you can tie it onto the card itself. It's all in preference. I'm going to try it this way first. So I'm going to tie my bow just like this. I can never get my bows to be perfect. That's okay. All right, and we're going to snip this little guy just like that. And we're going to stick him right on top of our ribbon that we taped down earlier with a glue dot. Right here at the end of our sentiment, just like that. Okay. And then if you want, you can trim up those ends. There we go. Let's make them angled. And then last but not least, we are going to embellish with our rhinestones. I told y'all this card is super fast and cute to create. So we're gonna put one here. It's always more flattering in threes. I don't know why I'm using my pokey tool, the pokey end of this. And I can just use my putty tip. Stuck to my fingers. There we go. I'll put one right there too. All right. And there you go. All a really pretty card. All right, so let's take a final look at our cards that we created today. Aren't they cute? And I love the colors. I love the paper. I love the sparkle and the pizzazz that's on these two cards. Really, really gorgeous. I love it. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's cards. If so, be sure to give me a thumbs up. I've included links for all of the supplies that I used on today's projects, along with a link that'll take you over to the Facebook group Casing Tuesday so you guys can play along. And if you guys like my videos and want to continue to see more like them, along with more project inspiration and tutorials, be sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to get updates on all of my upcoming events, classes, tutorials, all that good jazz, I will have that also linked in the description box below. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys for now. So see you next time, next Casing Tuesday. Thanks for watching and happy stamping.